we are so back. And we are in the black and white era. Wrong timeline. All right, there we go. This is the era that we're supposed to be in. Color. Anyway, let's roll and get to the video. Chop chop. When we talk about resistance, it's easy to imagine something big and dramatic, like protests, rebellions, explosions. But resistance isn't always loud. Most of the time, it's just refusing to accept a life or a system that feels wrong. It's standing up for yourself, even when it feels like the world is literally like against you. In this video, I'm going to talk about how resistance shows up in global cinema. Because movies from around the world don't just entertain us, they teach us how people respond to oppression, injustice, and survival in totally different ways. Through stories and visuals, films help us understand struggles that might be far from our own, but still deeply human. Today, we're looking at 3 films that left a major impact on African, Asian, and Caribbean cinema, which will be Black Girl, Lagaan, and The Harder They Come. So, let's get to it. Before we jump into the films, let's take a little quick side quest to our directors. Beginning with Ousmane Sembène, director of Black Girl, is often called the father of African cinema. His work constantly challenged colonialism and inequality, and Black Girl was one of the first feature films made by a sub-Saharan African director. Then Ashutosh Gowalkar, who directed Lagaan, is known in India for emotional, epic historical films. Lagaan is his most famous work and even earned an Academy Award nomination. Then lastly, we have Perry Henzell, the director of The Harder They Come, created what's considered the first major Jamaican feature film. He used realism, local stories, and reggae culture to show what life and struggles look like in Jamaica. Alright, let's get right into the analysis. Black Girl tells the story of Diona, a young Senegal woman who moves to France hoping for a better life, but instead she ends up trapped, emotionally and socially, inside a French household. Her resistance is quiet and personal. She faces emotional abuse, isolation, and even racism. Sembène visually shows this by framing her behind doors and windows, making it feel like the walls are closing in on her. Eventually, Diona refuses to accept this life. Her final act was taking her own life, which was really tragic. But it's also her way of reclaiming the little control she had left. It sends a message about how dehumanizing colonial systems can be. Her story is heartbreaking, but powerful. Next, it's Lagaan, a film set in colonial India. A small village is being crushed under heavy taxes by British rulers. So, what do? They resist in the most unexpected way. A cricket match. If the villagers win, they don't have to pay taxes. Very smart. This story, it's all about collective resistance, which to me is basically teamwork makes the dream work. Unlike Diona's personal struggle, the villagers fight as a team. They train, strategize, and support each other. And in the end, they win. Happy ending. This film is hopeful and uplifting. Instead of tragedy, we see unity and empowerment. The happy ending matters because it shows resistance as something that can be actually led to victory when people stand together. And then our last film is The Harder They Come from Jamaica. It follows Ivan, a young man who moves to Kingston dreaming of becoming a musician, but the music industry exploits him, cheats him, and even shuts him out. When he's pushed too far, Ivan turns to crime. His resistance is both personal and public. He refuses to accept the corruption around him and fights back in bold, dangerous ways. The film uses reggae music, fast paced scenes, and the real streets to make his struggle feel literally real to us, the viewers. But like Black Girl, Ivan's story ends tragically. He's killed by the law. Another reminder that resisting an unfair system can be risky, even fatal. But his defiance leaves an impact that will resonate decades later. Even though these three films come from different countries and cultures, they share the same message. Resistance is a response to mistreatment. In Black Girl, resistance is personal and tragic. In Lagan, resistance is collective and strategic. And The Harder They Come, resistance is bold, rebellious, and even risky. Together, they show us that resistance isn't always about winning. Sometimes it's just about saying enough, even when the consequences are dangerous. These stories, real or fictional, remind us that courage exists everywhere, and studying global cinema helps us understand how people all over the world stand up against oppression in ways big and small. Thanks to this class, I've realized that film doesn't just tell stories, it helps us feel resistance from perspectives we might never experience ourselves. And that concludes our analysis and this video. I really enjoyed this little personal project. I would say that these three movies have been my favorite ones to watch and analyze during the entire semester. And I hope that by doing this analysis, you would give these movies a try and even a watch. But anyway, I hope to see y'all in the next video. And I'll see you next time. Bye!